part of what makes Geralt a fun character to me is, you know, he is by no stretch of the imagination like a Batman or something like that, where he's just like, he's this, you know, hyper, he's incredibly competent, but like his character, you don't get this vibe. Like Witcher 3, I think that's what makes Witcher 3's representation of Geralt super awesome, because Geralt in Witcher 3, he is fucking worn down by life. Like he's an expert, he is an absolute pro, but like, man, is he fucking tired of dealing with people's shit, and it shows on him. And like, but he has like, he doesn't have nearly as hard of an edge on him as he does like in the books, and even a little bit earlier in the games. So like in the books, Geralt he's very antisocial. He's just kind of angry, kind of a grump. But he does get along really well with Dandelion. Like, and it doesn't come through in the show that way. Like in the show, you get the sense that he likes having Dandelion around, but he doesn't really like talking to him. But in the books, like, they're just like two bros, and they like razz each other a lot. And I love that in his, like, a lot of his character flaws that make him a likable character come from Geralt being incredibly insecure and incredibly like untrusting and antisocial and shit. Like what I was gonna say about what I love about Baptism of Fire, and I don't know if the show will do it. So hyper spoiler alert: if you don't want to know anything about what might potentially happen, then you may want to just, you know, skip ahead or whatever when I put this on YouTube.
Yeah, I was gonna say no one's watching.
Well, not really, but you know, for future reference. Super spoiler alert.
One person watching it, it's like, I'm out of here. I don't want spoilers.
But at some point in the future, Geralt basically, like, he unwittingly, he doesn't really form it, but he unwittingly forms a party that he travels around with. You know, it's like classic D&D shit. Nice. So it's like, it's Geralt, it's Dandelion, it's an elf named Milva.
Milva.
It's
that dwarf from Witcher 3, that guy.
They travel around with Zoltan for a little bit.
Zoltan, that's right. I like Zoltan.
Zoltan Shive. Awesome. He's great. He's a great character. They travel with him for a little bit, and you know, and this is another thing. Like Cahir is a part of their party, and Cahir in the books is like he's a good guy for the most part. The weird faced dude, South Park looking guy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the guy from the books.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what that guy's purpose was. You know.
Cahir is awesome, man. Like, so...
He totally looks like that kid from South Park with his face on his shirt. It's totally like that guy in a nutshell.
So, like, and like, the show's doing his character, I think, a big disservice. And I'm not sure to what end, but it seems like, you know, the way that the season ended with the Emperor having those two kind of arrested, it might be pushing him down a little bit more.
They kind of tried. What was weird, I felt with this season, was they're trying to like humanize this guy. At first, making us kind of side with him a little bit.
But then they retconned it immediately.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was such a total change. He's learned fucking nothing.
It was a great moment, like when he was in prison and he's all scraggly. And by the way, he looks way better with the beard. Like, he looks weird, clean shaven. So he needs to keep that beard. But like, he's about to be killed by Yennefer. She's got the axe, and all the kings of the north are there. You know, that's a great scene. It looked awesome. She fucking hits the chains, knocks over.
Which I didn't completely understand her motivations for doing that. I mean, again, so much of the show, and maybe I just, because it's lack of book knowledge, but you shouldn't need the books. I mean, there's just a lot. You're just like, okay, they're doing this now.
Well,
you know what I mean?
She didn't want to kill him.
Okay, yeah, but she could have also just said she didn't have magic. Or she could have just been like...
She definitely didn't want to say that.
Why not?
Because she had all sorts of enemies at Artusa. Like, she had Stregobor, who was, like, fucking gunning for her from moment one. Like, he attacked her in the halls and shit. Like, and all of his allies. And a lot of people just don't like her there. Like, so she had a vested interest in not letting people know she didn't have her magic. Like... That was where she, like, that's why her back was kind of against the wall in that respect, because she was in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. She was either going to be forced to kill someone she didn't want to kill, and suffer whatever ramifications she would suffer from that.
Yeah, but
Or she was gonna do what she did and be labeled an outlaw anyways.
well, yeah, but couldn't she just have left without having to kill him and just like have what's her face, her benefactor, portal out of there? You know what I mean? Oh, just in one night go to a room and say, "Get me out of here," or have Triss do it. Triss would have done it. I mean,
I don't think Triss was there at that moment. I think she was in Kaer Morhen, but I don't know about what Tissia would have done.
she could have let Astrid. Astrid would have done it.
Istrid?
Yeah, he would have done it. He would have portal out of there.
He wasn't there. Like, he's been on fucking.
He was there at that point, I think.
I don't think he was there.
I don't know. Honestly, he shows up at one point in time. He's there.
I mean, but those sorcerers are in and out all the time.
Yeah,
like,
my point is that like she didn't want to cut somebody's head off. It just seemed really weird. It's like,
well, I mean,
okay,
come on, man. For at a
certain
certain point, you have to understand like that the story is trying to tell you something about this character, and like she was put into a situation where she could have gone hardcore. She could have done. I mean, it's not like she doesn't have any blood on her hands. She just ruthlessly murdered a bunch of fucking Nilfgaardians.
Well, that's
with
my point
fire.
too. Exactly. It's like she's like, what does she care? One more fucking Nilfgaardian. You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean,
well, it's the difference between faceless soldiers on the battlefield and a dude that she's looking, a guy with his hands tied behind his back, and she talked with him and had like some kind of personal interaction. And all that kind of stuff.
My point is that like it just seemed like I didn't get any of that. I didn't see that calculus in the character. It was just like. As far as I know, she lost her magic, did some shit with the woods with this witch chick, and now she won't. She doesn't. She'd rather be on the run with this dude who she just literally would have killed in any other circumstance. If he had been there, if she could have killed him a month earlier, he would be dead. You know what I mean?
I think the calculus is that she doesn't have her magic anymore, and she's in a fucking dangerous place that she never liked. And Stregobor said that to her when he was fucking going after her. He was like, "You said yourself that you would burn this place down, by your own hand, not too long ago." Like, she doesn't like the place. It's a threat to her life, really. And I think at that point she was just like, "Fuck it, I'm out of here. Like, I don't need to deal with this shit. I'm not gonna kill this guy. I'm gonna."
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's a show and it's for drama and whatnot. Yeah. But I mean, it's like it felt very,
I had zero problems with that. Like, I really had zero problems with that. I had way more problems with the fact that you had this humbling of Cahir. He's being tortured. He's like, the shittiest things are happening to him. He's about to be executed. He's got his head on the chopping block.
And he tries to save the guy that gets attacked.
I'm going through that. Like, he has this moment on the block where he's like, he looks at Yin right in the eyes, and he's like coming to terms with the fact that his life's about to end. He gets an unexpected reprieve. He's escaping. They're on the run. He and his enemy are now unlikely allies. They're trudging through the sewers. He's trying to save her from what I think is a Zoogle or whatever, and like he's pulling her out, and like they're running through the sewers. They go to the Sandpiper. They're sneaking onto the boat. Like, they're doing all of this shit. He has such an arc coming from where he was a pompous, commander of Nilfgaard. He gets the shit beat out of him by Vilgefortz and captured and goes through all of that. And then when he gets back to Cintra, back to Nilfgaardian territory, like a light switch flips on. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm racist against elves," and he starts fucking going in on the elves. He's fucking strutting around in like a Hugh Hefner robe, and like he just becomes the worst Nilfgaardian all over again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's like, learned absolutely nothing. I was gonna say Fringilla's shit in this scene. I thought like that shit worked for me. Her relationship with the elf, and they wouldn't fight, and her being kind of in a rough spot, and like, oh shit, I thought this was gonna work out, but now what am I gonna fucking do? The elves hilariously not reading the room, like that was fucking comical. They're like, "Hey, well, we said that, but we have a baby now."
Yeah,
so I was like, "Are you not paying attention to anything that's going on?"
Like, you know where you're at?
Yeah,
what you're dealing with here?
The only reason you're there is because they need you. You know what I mean? You gotta play the game.
They may as well have been like, "What are you gonna do? Kill our baby?"
Yeah, exactly. Totally. I mean, honestly, I was wondering, like, no wonder why the elves fucking lost the entire continent. Because Jesus Christ, read the room, you morons. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
it was crazy. I was like, well, this is gonna be bad for them. I thought she was gonna do it to them. But I loved her scene where she fucking poisoned. Because to me, it's like, the fucking guy was just getting a little bit too, he just like he was a badass. It's like, dude,
that was a Gontar O'Dim scene. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, totally. It was a Gontar. That was definitely a game callback.
Yeah, like walking, like all the people are frozen. She
Yeah.
sticks the thing in the guy's eye just like Gontar did the spoon. Like, that was totally Gontar O'Dim call out.
And honestly, like, I was like, well, fuck yeah, what do you expect? She's a wizard. You're just some old douche, you know what I mean? It's like, she doesn't take your shit. Again, it's like, if you're a first level, second level, third level, fourth level wizard, you got, it's tough. It's a rough haul. But
wizard.
If you're like a fucking 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th level wizard, you know what I mean? You got a lot of shit up your sleeve, you know what I mean? And it's like, they were a little bit too, I thought, at least the fucking South Park guy seemed to know.
Yeah.
He seemed to have some respect for her. That one guy was just way too much like
he was like the elves, basically.
Yeah,
like, what are you gonna do?
What
Use your wizardry to kill me?
Wizard to kill me when I'm not looking because I'm a fucking moron. You know what I mean? I was just like, yes. I was actually quite glad to see that happen.
Yeah.
And I liked her. I liked her vibe. She's a great actress. I bought all that. I didn't need any of that Deathless Mother to see any of that happen.
Yeah.
I like the twist. I like the scene where the guy's like, fuck, what are you talking about, dude? It's brilliant. And she's like, what do you mean? He's like, we killed the baby, dude.
Yeah.
It fucking owns. You couldn't have asked for it to be any better. We'll say we killed the baby. She's like, well, I couldn't do that. He's like, yeah, well, you know what? He knows hardcore. The white flame. You want me to rave?
Yeah,
I'm gonna fucking rave, dude.
And like the ultimate twist at the end was like the Emperor was like, I killed the baby.
Yeah, exactly. Which was great. That shit made sense. It made sense. It wasn't like at the last minute they were like, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, a baby died 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't see that on screen. Oh, and I killed the baby. Just so you know, you two go to jail. You know what I mean? Because that's the way a lot of shit in the show happened. It was like, oh yeah, some piece of knowledge that you don't know is integral to the plot. We never said it because, if you were paying attention, Geralt mumbled it 3 episodes ago for 6 seconds. He mumbled something about it, but now it's going to be a major fucking crux of whatever arc is going on in whatever episode we're. And I felt the show relied on that shit way too much. It was like, and Aaron really said it. It was like you really just been like, I like it. It's Witcher, fucking Geralt. I think the guy's a great Geralt. You know what I mean? He's younger, obviously, but he's a true believer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's obviously played the game a shit ton of times. I mean, he was basically just doing whatever that guy's name's impersonation. He's like,
Doug Cockrell?
Yeah, Doug Cockrell. He's basically just doing that. You know, he's got a British accent some of the time, but most of the time he's just doing that. And it's great. It works. Yeah. I like seeing him wreck shop. I like seeing him figure shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need more Geralt in his Geralt. I need more actual Geralt. Because like, you're right, he is obviously a very huge fan of The Witcher. He's a very excellent like facsimile of game Geralt. But he's
a younger game Geralt.
Yeah, he's without the real depth of what Geralt is as a character, he just kind of seems like he's cosplaying him to me.
Yeah, I guess. But the difference between you and me is, in this regard, is you've read a ton of Geralt's inner monologue, and I have not.
But even if I'm just basing it off of Witcher 3, like Geralt has a lot more. Geralt is a much more rounded character in Witcher 3, based off of his interactions with other people. And you don't really get that in this because the way that most of Geralt's interactions with characters in this season is him basically righting other people's wrongs. Like, Geralt doesn't make any mistakes in this show. Like, he doesn't have any character faults that leads to any kind of conflict with somebody else. Like, it's all, even his rift with Dandelion, he patches that up, and then there's like nothing going on between them.
I didn't even remember. I mean, Dandelion talks about it a lot, but I didn't remember how they parted in the previous season. I mean, it's been a while since I watched that show.
The funny thing is, like, I don't, and this is like kind of maybe you remember, maybe you don't. I don't remember or know how or why Geralt shows up to rescue Dandelion. It's just a random scene where all of a sudden Geralt shows up at a jail and beats a dude's ass.
Right. It's true, and I don't know the answer to this.
Okay,
and that's a problem. But there's again, there's just a series of things that happen in the show. There's not a lot of logical connective tissue. So the South Park guys have a great saying when it comes to writing, right? You know what I mean? If you ever say, and then this happens, you're fucked. If you ever say that, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know, what you say is, because so-and-so has done this or is like this, he does this or needs that. It's a cause and effect. Nothing ever just happens. But I kind of felt like a lot of this season was like, and then this happens.
And then this happens.
And then this happens. Like when they, for instance, an excellent example in the final episode before the final episode. I can't remember which one it was in. So when they portal with Siri, when Siri portals her and Yennefer out of there, wherever they are, they portal somewhere. Where were they when they portaled?
Are you talking about when they were attacked by Reince in the temple?
Yes.
Yeah, so they were in that temple, and then I forget where they...
Portals
they portal to the house. Yeah.
All right, so the house, people are in there, fucking long dead, burnt to a crisp.
Yeah.
You know, they come out of the house, there are 2 horses, saddled and ready to go right for them, right there. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? Why would there be horses there? You know what I mean? It's like...
I guess I never really thought about that.
No, it was fucking ridiculous. They're both saddled. They're ready to go. You know what I mean? It's like, no one's been at this house for a while. Those bodies are fucking... It's Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. They're fucking toast. You know what I mean? Whoever toasted them, if there had been horses there, they would have taken the horses.
Taken them, yeah.
You know what I mean? Horses are worth money. You know, they wouldn't have just been there. And if they'd been there for days, they'd be fucking dead. You know what I mean? It's like... So we're supposed to believe that they just torched them, which maybe they had, I guess, but it's just like there's only 2.
Well,
you know
I mean, so if it was Reince and Lydia, who was the sorceress, then, you know, they wouldn't have needed the horses. They would have just portaled in, killed them, and portaled out. And there was a lot of sketchy, and like the Reince stuff, you know, they really butchered that. Because there was a lot of sketchy shit going on with, like, how he was integrating into, like, storylines. Like, I don't know how he knew that. I don't know how he knew that there was a vial of Ciri's blood at Kaer Morhen.
Yeah.
And he just shows up, fucks some shit up, takes the blood, and leaves.
Well,
and
the funny thing is that that's
fuck?
not even the vial of her blood. That's
It was the
fucking
Witcher
mutagen. And the girl's like, I'll figure this out. You know, and it's like, well, obviously blood is not fucking black. You know what I mean? Again, a lot of stuff, and I guess because it's fresh on my mind, I'm just like, okay, we're doing this. You know, it's like, whatever. We're just moving from thing to thing. Yeah. They don't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, maybe there's something in there that explains how he knew to go there, why he went there, how he knew once he landed in a Witcher den that he'd probably never been to before. That's Ciri's blood, you know, and totally. like in a Witcher lab full of vials of all sorts of shit, he knew which one exactly he needed to go for. Like that to me was like, all right, what's going on here? Like something wasn't working. Like they were drawing all these lines and they hit a dead end and was like, okay, we'll just jump to this point anyways. No one will care about the missing connective tissue there.
Okay, but how did he even find Kaer Morhen?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
because remember, he's questioning Dandelion, and Dandelion does not tell him about where Geralt went or anything. Specifically, doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, maybe he did some research or something. I don't know, but he certainly portaled right there. We don't see him figure that out. He just shows up and then finds the fucking thing because he needed to, I guess, because reasons. And then he takes it to his sister, I guess, who. I don't know what she was fucking doing. I don't know. She just has to
fucked
fucking
her face
huff
up. I don't know why she did she drink it?
No, she just
like
huffed
half
it.
her mouth was missing.
Yeah, it like she inhaled it and it just burned off her face. I guess.
And like when that happened, I was like, Jesus fuck! Vesemir was about to inject that into Ciri. Yeah. I was like, holy shit!
And so there's that, and then there's shit with the fucking horses. I'm just like, why are there horses there?
Well, like
what the fuck?
Yeah, towards the end of the season, things were definitely starting to fall apart.
Yeah, and then so they get on the horses and they ride for Cintra. But the funny thing is that she traveled a long time before she got to that fucking house. You know what I mean? From Cintra. You know what I mean? She traveled a while. She had a bunch of adventures, and she got to that house at the very end. Ciri.
Yeah, but she was on foot though.
At the very end, yeah, not always though, but at the very end of
season one.
Season 1.
I don't ever remember it being on a horse in season 1.
I guess it's what's his face that's on.
Cahir is on the horse.
Or who's in the wagon? Someone gets in the wagon. Is it Geralt?
Geralt was on the wagon.
How did she find the fucking house? I can't even remember.
The wife randomly is like, we found a girl in the woods.
Yeah, season 1. I got the sense that she's been walking for like months, but maybe she. Anyway, they take off and they get to fucking, they get to Cintra.
Yeah.
And they're there for a few minutes before. And where did Geralt even come from? Because he met the dwarves. What they Oxenfurt? Were they outside of Oxenfurt?
I don't think they were outside of Oxenfurt. Wherever Dandelion was
in prison. He was in Oxenfurt.
Was that Oxenfurt?
Yeah.
When did they? Wait, I don't remember them going to Oxenfurt ever.
Oxenfurt is that's where they escaped from. That's all in Oxenfurt. In the show.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was Oxenfurt.
It was Oxenfurt. I'm almost certain. Granted, it's confusing, so I can see how I would be wrong or you would not remember it's Oxenfurt.
Escape to the city of Oxenfurt. Yeah, you're right. Okay. But it was Oxenfurt.
Yeah. Which is way in the north.
Yeah, Oxenfurt.
And
from where? Oh, jeez, man. The geography of the world is.
I know that's the problem. And Ciri and they're near Staden because they can walk to Staden from that house. So they take off from Staden and they get to Cintra. Geralt rides from Oxenfurt and gets there 5 minutes after they get there, and then.
Well, okay. So let me think. Geralt rescued Dandelion, or Jaskier.
Is he not called Dandelion in the show at all?
No, he's called Jaskier. So they're talking.
Is he called Dandelion in the books?
In the American translation, yes.
Oh, okay.
In the Polish original, he's Jaskier. So they're talking, they're washing their clothes, and that's when Geralt is like, Yennefer's in league with the Deathless Mother. And Dandelion is like, well, she sounds like a hoot. And that made me laugh. It's like, yeah, Deathless Mother. It's a little... But, so from there, that's when they decide... I don't know. Like, they must have realized... I don't know if they actually explained it or anything, but they must have realized that they needed to go to Cintra. Because that's where all that took place outside of Cintra. So how he got there at that time is a little mysterious to me. But, I mean... It's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't know if I just really can't remember if they explained it or anything. It's not outside of the realm of possibility that they decided they needed to go back to Cintra.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, just from a distance thing. It's like they were in a completely. They meet those dwarves and they ride the dwarves with a wagon and they get there at the exact same time. I mean, granted, it's a fucking show, and I should just shut the fuck up, but. It's just like a lot of stuff. It all adds together into just a kind of a fog. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like the entire plot kind of takes place inside of a logical fog. You know what I mean? I don't really know a lot of the I kind of know the motivations, but I don't really know how a lot of it happened. You know what I mean? It just kind of did.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, they just did kind of show up right in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, and granted, Geralt had been there with Istrid and seen the portal, so maybe he knew they were gonna go there. Or maybe the Deathless Mother would want to go there, or something.
Well, he knew that Ciri was traveling with Yennefer, and that Yennefer had struck some kind of deal with the Deathless Mother.
But the thing is he didn't know. He
knew that there was some kind of connection with the monoliths. So he was probably just trying to travel to the monolith.
I mean, yeah, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that, he just guessed. And they could have been going anywhere. I guess they didn't know there was a monolith in Kaer Morhen.
No, it was hidden in the tree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other monoliths too, but... They'll go to that one.
That was the broken one. That was the one that creatures were coming out of, and ostensibly the one that the communication, because he was in there before and heard Ciri's voice. So, I mean...
And also, too, is the idea that they come up with at the end is that the Deathless Mother is actually from another plane of existence. She's one of the other spheres. Is she one of the Wild Hunt? Like, I don't... Because she flies out... And again...
That was the most baffling thing to me. It was like, wait a second.
Guys...
So she turns into Eridan?
Yeah, I was like, guys, this is... You just can't... This has to make some kind of fucking sense. You know what I mean? It's like, the reason... You can't just wave your hand and be like, you like it or you don't. Yeah, it's like, well, I'm gonna watch it, okay, but God, could it be better than this?
I'm gonna watch it.
It's like
you're like, fine, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I think that there were elements of the show that got Witchering right, like definitely the first episode, but there were some things in the latter episodes that kind of got it right too. Like I did like, for the most part, I liked their portrayal of Kaer Morhen and the Witcher's Keep and all that. I liked all the other Witchers. Cool. You know, I liked.
I thought Vesemir was good. Like
Vesemir was definitely modeled after Game Vesemir. I mean, he looked like Game Vesemir.
Although he looks like cartoon Vesemir. He looks like an older version of cartoon Vesemir.
I thought he looked like Game Vesemir.
Well, he looks like a combo.
Cartoon Vesemir was like a bro.
Well,
like a young bro.
Yeah, but he had brown eyes, and this Vesemir had brown eyes. To me, it looks like they knew that guy was cast, and they made a brown-eyed Vesemir.
Yeah, I could see that for certain.
To look like the guy from the show.
I think they tried to make the character from the show look like Vesemir from the game.
Well, the thing is Vesemir he doesn't have brown eyes, but he does. You know what I mean? He does.
I mean, it's the same guy.
Yeah, he doesn't look as old. I guess he just didn't look as old to me. Like, I was expecting Vesemir to be much older looking. But to me, like, he looks like this guy, looks like this guy. This guy looks like if he grows up into this guy. This guy, not so much.
But this guy looks the same as this guy.
Well, they're close, I guess. You know?
Like, the only difference, I mean, let's see. And it's hard because, like, this is an anime, so it's not exactly like it's fleshed out facial features, but, like...
I mean, you're right.
This
guy's got a bigger nose on the right.
This guy has a wider mouth than his. His mouth is, like, short, and his mouth is, like, in between.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're really gonna pick it apart...
I don't know.
Seems very dark skin.
Just for me...
It's like a BIPOC Vesemir. I don't know what happened here.
What...
But yeah, I mean, whatever. I liked the actor. I thought he was great in the role, even if I disagreed with how they portrayed Vesemir. He generally seemed Vesemir-y. Vesemir-esque. More so than Lambert. Lambert didn't quite strike me as a Lambert.
Who was Lambert again?
He was the big red-haired Witcher.
Oh yeah.
He was.
Yeah, I can only see Lambert. That guy was like a new character to me. Lambert is the guy from the games. You know what I mean? Because he plays a big role in the games.
Yeah, he plays a pretty decent role as a Witcher in the books too. I mean, he's the one that's like training Ciri and shit. But yeah, I mean, it just. I don't know, the character...
I think they should have made that guy. Who is that guy? The guy on the left over there? That guy. They should have made him Lambert. He looks more like Game Lambert to me.
Him?
Yeah.
I think that's the guy that played Cohen.
Oh, he's Cohen. Yeah, they should have made him Lambert, and they should have made the red-haired guy Cohen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind. I mean, generally didn't mind any of the Witchers, honestly.
They were all fine. They were all good. You know what I mean?
It was fine. And...
I don't really have any issues with the casting, other than I kind of felt that Emir should have looked more distinct or older or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He seemed too Kip Wingery to me. He looked too much like Rance. Even though I knew it wasn't the same guy, I still feel like they were cut from the same, like, central casting cloth.
Yeah, for certain. Which is weird because really nobody else in the show has that kind of central casting vibe.
Yeah.
Like, everybody looks a little weird to one degree or another. I will say that the actor that plays Triss, they definitely made her look a lot better in this season than the first season.
I like Triss a lot more this season.
Yeah.
Even though Okay, Triss in The Witcher 3, I like quite a bit, but she is very much just like a redheaded hot cheerleader type character. You know, she has an American accent, which in fantasy is always a rough thing. You know what I mean? But I thought that like they leaned into that character a little bit more. They gave her some meteor shit. They made her feel kind of like the character from the game.
She did feel a lot more like game Triss.
Yes. But without the cheerleadery aspects, but some of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She had the soft, friendly, good vibes that you get from Triss, but without kind of like the American accent cheerleader
like
vibe.
The girl next door that you might see on fucking Bang Bros or something.
Yeah.
Which is game Triss. Yeah.
Yeah. Game Triss. Yeah, totally.
But no, I liked her a lot in this season.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
And Ciri was good.
And Ciri was great. I don't have, like, I can't think of a single actor that I'd be like, oh, they were terrible, or oh, they were out of place. The guy that did Reince was Cheeseball, but I mean, I guess for the diminutive role that they kind of gave him, like, he was fine. Like, I can't imagine, like, if they had gone with making Reince the main antagonist, sorry, I almost did it again. If they had gone with making him the main antagonist for season 2, then I don't think that actor's kind of take on that character would have worked quite as well.
Yeah, they needed someone, I think, that was generally more menacing. He kind of reminded me of that actor from the 80s and 90s who was he was in Strange Days, and he was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He played the sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He also played the producer Rothschild in The Doors.
Yeah.
That guy reminded me of this character. Oh, that guy looks like Kip Winger. I don't know. Maybe Kip Winger.
He just looks like Kip Winger.
I mean,
maybe they modeled him after Kip Winger.
I mean, it's Kip Winger. A lot of characters from the game look like Kip Winger. You know what I mean? Because you give him a bass and he's ready to fucking play 17 right there.
Yeah.
With his fire hands.
That's another thing. He's supposed to have like fire claws too. Rather than just snapping his finger. He was doing the Geralt game trick thing, like snapping the finger to make the flames on the candles pop up and shit.
Oh, really?
Like he was basically just like doing that, and a little flame will come up. But no, he's not like in a little flame. He has flaming fucking claws, you know, and he fucks shit up with it too. So like, yeah, if this guy,
they should have cast someone that felt a little more psychopathic, you know, someone that was like a little
I
scary.
think in one of in the video I did where I dissect the trailer for Witcher 2 when that dropped a couple months ago, I think I mentioned how this character, how he looked like I think I said he looked like the lead singer for that goth band Him.
Huh. You know who they should have cast? They should have cast. Oh, they couldn't get this guy. They should have cast the guy from Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men. that guy was pretty menacing.
Yeah, that guy is just menacing in general.
That would be amazing. People would be so scared shitless of Reince that the season would be like 2 episodes long.
Yeah, it's totally just this dude right here. It's the same thing.
Yeah, totally.
And I can't be intimidated by this. Like, there is no intimidation factor going on here.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Reince, but you were probably properly relegated to being the C stringer there.
Yeah,
but the thing is, they just didn't replace him with, like, the Deathless Mother also didn't have any menace. Like,
no, not at all.
The Crones had a severe menace.
Oh my god!
The Crones had severe. Like, I was legitimately scared, and Geralt had the scare of him too. Like, you know, he was constantly being like, we shouldn't go back into those woods. They'll kill us, and blah 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 blah. Like, Geralt was terrified of the Crones
because they're old.
Because they're old.
They're
and they're powerful.
Yeah.
You know, and like, so they had menace, and they're fucking creepy looking. So like
So
creepy sounding too.
Yes.
So like the Crones had menace, you know, and
they should have just made it the Crones. Because if people would have liked that from Witcher 3,
yeah,
and they could have.
And there's established lore around the Crones.
They should have made that the thing. They just, they should have, or just make it Reince. Cast someone more
cast
scary,
someone more intimidating.
more intimidating. and make it right. You know, honestly, I will say this. I liked the show Dykstra better than the Dykstra from the games.
I also like the Dykstra from the show.
He felt legit.
Although I love the dialogue of Game Dykstra. It's very cleverly written. It's a very well written character in the game. But for like a seemingly all-knowing, like omnipresent spy master, the show Dijkstra has
the vibe.
A lot of that kind of and like the way they introduce him, where he kills that woman and then makes that other dude drink the poison. He's just staring at him. Like the guy has no choice. Like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah.
He's looking right at you. He's right there. He's fucking bald and ripped. And what are you gonna do? So he drank it and like he died. Like that was a great introduction. Like, especially when you see how like foppish and boy like King Vizimir is. You know, he's just like, oh, he's like a dandy almost, you know, by comparison to Dijkstra. So it was actually like he's probably number 2 behind Nevillein as far as like just the presence and performance in this season, I think.
So in the game, I felt Dijkstra was cool. I liked the idea of Dijkstra as a character, but his character model, and I was always like, when he would threaten Geralt at one point, like, you better watch out. I was like, bitch, please. I will paint your ass all over these walls. And then eventually, he pissed me off. That's exactly what I did. I killed him and every single one of his guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I was just kind of like, I was never particularly threatened by that guy.
Well,
but this guy seems a lot more threatening. I don't know why, because he's older. But
and the mustache. The threat of Dijkstra, it's less about him like fucking you up and more about him like having crazy avenues with which to.
I don't know. At that point in the game, dude, I was so powerful. I was.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, it's the game though, so you know it's not good. I mean, even if he fucks you up, you'll just hit reload save, right?
That's true.
So, but as a character that exists in this world, I definitely felt more threatened from him because even in the books, you don't really get a sense of what Dijkstra's threat is. Like, you know that he's a spy master, but he doesn't really like he doesn't contain. There's not a whole great deal of scenes of him, and like the interaction he has with Geralt, like he even mentions it in Witcher 3. So spoiler for those who haven't played that game and haven't read the books. But like Geralt fucked him up in the book. He broke his knee.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's why when you run into Dijkstra the first time in Witcher 3, like he's like, how's the leg doing? And he's like, it hurts like hell and blah blah blah. Like they're talking about when Geralt fucked him up. You know, so there's no like actual physical threat there, but he is a spy master. You know, he'll have somebody else fuck you up. You know,
yeah.
But I like that character though. I thought he was.
He was cool. I liked him, and it's funny because in the game, he's like way off into the owl chick. He wants to get with her, but she's a lesbian in the game, right?
I think she's probably like
just not into him.
No, that's not true. I think she's just like, I don't know what the kids say. I'm gonna turn the woke up to 7.
Oh no.
She might be bi. She might even be. I'm gonna turn the woke up to 8. She might even be pan. So
Pan.
Yeah, she might be pan. I didn't get the sense that like she didn't like Dijkstra. I think that they were legitimately, you know, an item at some point.
I got the sense in this show
they're both just
that
conniving.
she was more into Dijkstra than she was in the game. I don't know why, because she only looks at it for a second, but the way she looked at it,
because in the game, they were already like
they had already done through this phase.
They were already at odds with one another.
Well, she gets blinded in the game.
Yeah, by
that hasn't happened yet. By the fucking king.
By Radovid.
Radovid, yeah. Who is he? Vesemir's son?
Yes.
Radovid's kind of a bitch.
But in the books, though, they are an item.
Oh, okay.
So there is that.
I mean, I think it's important to note that The Witcher 3 is not in the books. The Witcher 3 is its own story that they made up.
All of the Witcher games take place after the series of books ends. It kind of retcons the ending so that they can extend the story further. And
oh, really? What happens in the end? What, spoiler alert. I'm not gonna read these books.
You say we're going dark, people. This is Zero Dark. And we're back.
All the streamer got to watch me hear the end of the Witcher saga from a book standpoint, and the look on my face paints my reaction to hearing how it turns out.
It's very weird, and it's a good thing that the game retcons the book ending, and I hope that the show kind of does its own thing that definitely isn't that. But yeah, so the games all, just kind of pick up from the last reasonable point of the novels, where they just send Geralt back. They say they claim he has amnesia, so like the entire first game he has no memory of anything that happened prior, and you're just literally just doing Witcher shit. Like, The Witcher 1 is a really underrated game because you are a detective in that game, and I've never felt like more of a detective in my life than just trying to complete those fucking quests. And I think I mentioned it in one of my, because I uploaded those playthroughs, I mentioned it in one of them, like, I totally understand, like, just playing like halfway into the first game, I totally understand why Geralt by the midpoint of game 3, why someone would be like, I need you to do a favor for me, and he'd be like, because that's what I was doing by the time. I was like, God damn it, I really gotta go back there and do this. I really have to go and find some fucking fool's parsley for this goddamn werewolf. I really gotta do this. Like, God damn, all I need to do is get to the city central. Why is this such a pain in the ass? And like, having to go through all of that and do the detective work and figuring out, which threads to follow. You have like a list of suspects, and you have to go down a track of each one to figure out which suspect is most likely. You're interrogating them, and then like a dialogue tree pops up where you can either like accuse them of doing whatever, or you can say, no, this isn't the right one. And like, it's like, I want to accuse this guy. I don't know. And like, Geralt will be like, I don't have enough evidence. I need to gather more. I'm like, God damn it, it's okay. You gotta go back out, and you've got like a whole tree of like quests in your quest log that all end in dead ends. So I'm like, well, now what do I do? Every quest I have in my thing is a dead end. What am I supposed to do now? So like, yeah, it's fucking annoying. But like, it really gives you a sense of why Geralt is so fucking worn down by the time you get to Witcher 3. So, I mean, but like, he's also, in the course of all that, trying to thread together like his memories and figuring out, who's who and what's what. He's meeting all the characters from the books, and they're all like recounting tales from the books, and he's like, I have no memory of that. So it's a lot of that for that one, at least. It's a great game. But the only reason it was made possible is because the very first thing CD Projekt Red did with it was say, all right, those book endings are gone.
Yeah.
So hopefully the Netflix show kind of does the same thing, because I'm not a fan of the way the books end myself. All right, I don't think I have anything else more to say about season 2. I mean, honestly, I still ultimately think that it's better than season 1.
Yeah, I will say it's better than season 1.
I think it gave me more moments of Geralt being Geralt, like in the first episode for certain. In the second episode, when he's investigating, or no, the second episode is when he killed. But even then, like the witch, you get the scene with the Witcher's Keep. That's cool. Third episode, he's investigating the Leshen. There's a lot of stuff going on there. He goes out into the woods. He's fighting a Leshen. He's fighting that other thing. You get some cool stuff there. The Geralt stuff's all good for the most part, even though I think that his character was a little flat. I liked Jaskier coming back. I think there was some good stuff there. The Yennefer stuff was okay, I guess, if you like that character. I wasn't super enthralled by her storyline, but whatever. Ciri was fine. I thought it was cool how they took that apparatus from the game and had her running through it, like, the gauntlet with the thing swinging, and she's going through it and spinning through all that. Like, that was kind of cool. But I mean, ultimately, like, the main story with the Deathless Mother and all that shit, it's probably, I mean, it's sad to say, but it's probably the weakest part of the story of the season. And it just wasn't really...
Because the way it goes down is you're not really sure. It's like Yeah, it's just a weird convolution of all the stuff that they're trying to do. Again, I think that it's better than season 1 in the sense that at least it's all in the same linear timeline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you get to see the characters go from here to here to here to here. You know, I think that that it's like they had these story beats they wanted to hit, and they maybe didn't really do the work of getting them there in a way. It's maybe they needed more episodes. I think honestly, if they could have whittled the story down into something a little more akin to, you know, what we see in episode 1, but you know, make Reince the main bad guy. If I'm gonna try it, and the way they could fix the season is, you know, make Reince the main. Maybe do half the season them getting back to Kaer Morhen, and have some Witcher things that happen on the way there, more like the guy that, you know what I mean, where we get to get a little more insight into because we got in that episode, we got a little bit of insight into his character because he has those conversations with him, and in those little monster of the week kind of stories, a lot of times whatever the main issue is, and you know, we get to see that juxtaposed against Geralt's own, you know, internal, you know, thing, and we don't really get to see that after that because he's reacting to other people's growth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in that episode, he's the one talking to the guy, and he's the one that has to decide at the end, you know, which is greater. It goes to the ultimate, you know, the same thing with the Bloody Baron arc of the other thing. It's just kind of pitiful characters, and what do you know? The guy's like, just kill me. He's like, no, you know what I mean? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And that was great. That felt so much like what I love about The Witcher, what I liked about the games. You know, those moments where you meet these characters and you unravel a mystery, and then you're just like, oh shit. But then your character is just like, hey man, I'm not judge and jury and executioner here. I looked at the curse. I'm out of here. I'm just done my thing. You know what I mean? And we don't really get we spend the rest of the season in kind of long arc, you know, fate of the world bullshit. Which again, fate of the world bullshit, I guess, is what puts asses in seats these days, but I just don't think it's what's great about The Witcher at the best. That's one of my
I never even got the sense that there was like a fate of the world thing at stake, and like that's a part of the problem. Is I think the story made the stakes very nebulous.
Well, I think the whole thing with Ciri is that, you know, she could change the world or in the world, both those things.
Yeah, they mention that, but I mean, it's so mysterious that you really
you're
still
right.
don't really get a sense.
It's so foggy but you get a sense that those are the stakes.
Yeah,
that she's all powerful, and it becomes this whole thing of you know, getting her to the gates because we don't know what she's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? There's all this kind of shit, and that's intertwined with, you know, the witch, which again, you know, there's like all kinds of things that are weird. At the end, when she goes into Yennefer, it's like, why would she go into Yennefer when she's in Ciri, the most powerful creature created by the elves to fight the human scourge? You know what I mean? Literally, she's so powerful that the Wild Hunt needs her to do what they're gonna do.
I think wasn't she like there was definitely like I mentioned before, they were trying to do a Heart of Stone thing, but it wasn't clever. Like, when I say it wasn't clever, I mean it wasn't clever. Like, there was some dumb shit going on.
And by clever, it means it doesn't make any sense. It was just a bunch of shit that happened.
There was something at the end where Jaskier had like a jade stone,
and they just completely dropped that.
Well, I don't know what, like, but it seemed like they dropped it, but they were mentioning it. Like, Geralt at the end was like, Jasper, the warmth of the something or other, and then like, well, yeah, she slit her wrist, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? It was
something that had happened. I want to say it was a reference to a line earlier in something that he had heard, but I'm not even really sure when it happened or when he heard
because, it. So, Yennefer shows up. Yennefer wakes Dandelion up, Jaskier, in the final episode. She wakes Jaskier up, and she's like, help me. And they go into, like, the Witcher thing, and she grabs a stone, like a Jasper stone, and she says something like, Jasper, it's the warmth of something or whatever. And she gives it to Jaskier. And then that's when Jaskier shows up in the kitchen when all the Witchers were there.
And he repeats what she says. Which jogs something in
Geralt's mind at that moment.
But it was something that he might have heard earlier in the season, but I don't remember where.
Well, here's what I thought. I thought that he was saying it not because it was jogging a memory. I thought he was saying it because he realized, he solved the riddle. Like, oh, I know what that means. I know how to use this stone now. But he didn't use the stone. No. So I just thought, like, why did he have that line and not use the stone?
I thought it was a reference to because they make a thing about the hut You know, I just thought it was a lot of like, what did she say? And someone says something that we heard someone say. Maybe we don't even remember it because it was so inconsequential the way it was said. And then it's like, oh yeah, and that leads us forward onto some plot point that's huge, and it just hinges on the smallest little thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
let me see if Vulture has any understanding of what was going on there. A bunch of muscular. Honestly, I found it so contrived and convoluted. I'm not entirely sure how to describe what happens. So I'll take a shot at it. Geralt figures out the Deathless Mother feeds on hate. He figured that out. Yes, I guess he did. Yeah, because Yennefer told her that.
He figures that out.
Yennefer told her that.
Yeah.
He was like, there's a lot of pain in the continent, so the Deathless Mother is fucking feasting on people's shit. I gotta plug this in real quick. So yeah, he does figure that out. Our heroes do an It Chapter 2 thing where they weaken
which
the
does
Deathless
work.
Mother by
This person did not like it. He feels the way I do for the most
Geralt
part.
offers himself up as an alternate vessel for the Deathless Mother, which doesn't work. Yeah, that was something that happened. Yennefer cuts her wrist and offers herself up as a different alternative vessel, which doesn't work.
That's
so it's
it.
basically like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
This happens. And then this happens.
Ciri goes, we're gonna draw through. Okay, so let me see if I can find. Okay, this doesn't have any reference to it.
So,
Or it was Jasper.
Do you remember the show Memento?
Memento, that movie?
Yeah, the movie.
I don't think I've ever seen it. No.
So there's a moment in Memento. So the big thing is the character has no memory up to a certain point. He can't form any long-term memories or really any short-term memories. He just lives in the moment. You know, he can't remember anything. So what he does is he tattoos a bunch of shit on himself to remind himself of stuff because he can't, you know. But the crazy thing is that there's a moment in the episode where, you know, it cuts back to him and he's like, now I'm chasing this guy. He doesn't know why he's chasing him, but he's just chasing him. You know what I mean? Because he was chasing him a second ago and now he's chasing him. He doesn't know why. And he's like, but he does, because a lot of the movie is narrated by him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's a Christopher Nolan's kind of breakout movie. But he's like, now I'm chasing this guy. There was a lot, and it's a funny moment, but it's serious, but it's funny because it's just kind of like he has no idea why he's chasing him. He's just going to keep chasing him because he was chasing him before.
Yeah.
There's moments like that in the show where it's just like, now we're doing this.
Volethmir uses Ciri's power to scream at the Witcher medallion tree, causing it to split in half, revealing a monolith. The monolith size shatters and activates a portal, drawing basilisks into Kaer Morhen. And that was awesome, and those basilisks look great.
They did look great.
Watching all the Witchers fight monsters was cool. A lot of them got fucked up.
It makes you wish for the show that could have been.
The Witchers are back to fighting. The arrival of Basilisk taking an absolute beating as Geralt continues to try to coax Volethmir out of Ciri or reach Ciri, wherever she is. While Jaskier tells Geralt of the Jasper Stone, Vesemir takes the opportunity to attack Ciri/Volethmir, though it is to no avail as the wound heals immediately. Geralt realizes they're approaching the situation an entirely wrong way, as Volethmir reveals she loves to feel the hatred pouring from him. Alright, so what about the stone? That's it?
I think that's it.
So nobody else knows what's going on with that Jasper Stone.
It wasn't. It's just a bunch of stuff that happened. That's it. That's just another of my many, many points. Again.
Yeah, that's how they describe it. A stone that helps you right wrongs. Keep in mind that Volethmir feeds off of hatred and despair. This will be important later. Okay. So what else about this Jasper Stone? Maybe what about all wrong? Okay. Literally, that's it! That's literally it! So, I'm not crazy. Like, they brought in a stone, and they didn't do anything with it. It was just like... here's the stone.
It's one of many things. Again, it all adds up. It adds up to where it's just like, you just kind of watch it as a narrative fog. You know what I mean? It's like... It is. It's like Witcher jazz. It's like that's a great way to describe it, because it's like you take all these elements from the books and the games, and you just kind of riff, man. You know what I'm saying? 8 episodes of riff. Actually, 7 episodes of riff, because the first episode was pretty good.
The first episode was actually really good, I thought. Somebody mentioned it somewhere in here. There's somebody. Where was I? Yeah.
Witcher jazz.
What was the significance of the Jasper Stone? But I can't. I'm gonna find find
It was a MacGuffin without any payoff.
Jesus, guys, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, but
Why is it so nested?
also, did she use her potion? Because doesn't she tell Jasper to go? She's like, go in there and bring us in the stone.
Jasper.
Jaskier, whatever.
Jaskier,
Dandelion.
Geralt, whoever. Yeah, she had a
goes,
potion.
and she's gonna work on a potion. Oh, she just drops it, right?
she
Because it doesn't do
drops it.
shit.
So, like, there are all sorts of
She's like,
weird little...
I'm gonna make a potion. I'm gonna do what witches do. And then she gets there, and she's like, don't need this. Break.
Guess I'll slit my wrist.
Yeah.
Alright, sure.
For some reason, the witch is like, well, I could leave this vessel that is literally the nuclear weapon of the continent created by the elves to defeat all of humanity. Or I could just go into this witch with no powers here with her slit wrist. I'm going to do that. That sounds good. Even though all I really want to do is get back to my home through the portal, which I could do right now. But I'm not going to do that for some reason. Again, I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know what she needed Ciri for to get into the portal.
I mean, Ciri to open the portal, okay, she needs her scream to open the portal. She did it. Leave. Convoluted.
Suffice it to say, yeah, that the way that it's not. They tried to Gauntero Dim and they just weren't clever enough for it at the end. Because, like, the great thing about Gauntero Dim was that, you know, he it's wordplay. He plays on words. So you gotta be careful what you wish for, you know, because he'll take your words and he'll use it to fuck you, and then he'll take your soul as payment. So it's
but
bad
you kind of
news.
know, because they seed Gauntero Dim. Don't they seed him in the actual game before you actually encounter him?
Yeah, a little bit. Like he's in Orchard, White Orchard.
Yeah, White Orchard.
He's in that tavern when you're looking for Yennefer, and he'll give you some clues. But at the end of the Heart of Stone, you figure out if you actually go and talk to Shani and then go and do the whole library thing with the guy that's trapped inside the little hexagram. You realize that there is a way to defeat Gauntero Dim. You have to, he loves games. You have to beat him at a game, at a challenge or whatever. So when Geralt shows up and Gaunter is about to take Vladimir's or Olgierd's, he's Olgierd? Yeah, he's trying to take Olgierd's
von Erich.
soul. He intervenes and he's like, let's play a game. If you win, you could take both of our souls, but if I win, you leave us alone. And then Gaunter is like, I'm intrigued, let's do it. He transports them to his world, which is like a nightmare world.
Yeah.
And you have to solve a riddle.
He's basically like Satan.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, he gives you the riddle, and you have to solve the riddle within a set period of time. And the riddle is basically like, he talks about just a bunch of allusions to mirror, because he's the mirror man, the man of mirror.
You figure it's not like a riddle where you just sit and figure it out. It's basically you run and jump.
You have to find the answer. You have to find a
certain
mirror.
amount of time.
Yeah, you have to find a mirror within a certain amount of time. But earlier in that game, in that expansion, if you save Olgierd's wife in a certain way, then you ask the pets, those ghost pets, they'll give you a clue. They'll tell you that the only way to defeat him is to seek safety.
God damn, how awesome was that fucking game? I just remember you could talk to the fucking ghost pets. That was so fucking cool. You like go into the paintings and shit.
Yeah, while you're in the painting, because you just freed her soul, so the painting world is starting to disintegrate, and they're like, be wary of the man of mirrors or whatever. Seek refuge in glass that can't break. So when you're doing that quest, if you remember, glass that can't break, what they're referring to is water. So when you got to find a source of water, and it's actually like it's under the basement, and there's like a wall, there's like a pool that's empty, and there's a wall with a crack in it. So if you are at that crack, a bunch of water will flow out. And then you go and you look into the water, and he's looking at Geralt's reflection, and then Geralt's reflection turns into Gaunter.
Yeah,
he reaches in, he's like, gotcha, he pulls him out, and then Gaunter is speaking this crazy ass language, demon language, and he's like, he goes away.
He's really mad.
He's really mad, but he goes away. And like, it's a clever, and it's all about the build-up. Like, when you're doing the Heart of Stone expansion quests, like, they build on the thread of Gauntero Dim very subtly and very slowly as you're doing all of this other stuff, so that by the time you like get to a certain, because like he's fucking powerful. Like, at first it just seems like, okay, he caused a storm, you know, but then he's like fucking tormenting Vladimir's ghost, and like he's showing up at random places, and he's just doing all this crazy shit.
Oh, dude.
There's all this lore about him.
I'm thinking
you
about-
go to that town and those kids are singing that creepy ass song.
I'm thinking about that thing, and that's the same thing where you go to the wedding with the chick.
Yeah, you go to the wedding.
You can hook up with her, and you go with Von Elger's brother's ghost to show him a good time. And
Yeah.
He possesses you and dances. Man, it's like that one. To me, those 2 expansion packs
Were better
are
than the
way
main
better
game.
than the game. And that's the thing. It's like, and that's my issue with the show. For the same reasons that episode 1 is better than all the other episodes, the expansion packs are better than the game because they
tell very good personal,
small personal
compact
stories. The fate of the world is not in the balance. You know what I mean? It's focused on these characters. They're sad. You know, Olger von Erich is a sad character. You know what I mean? He thought he wanted something. He was an asshole. He fucked up, and then he got what he got burned, and everything he wanted was destroyed. Now he's miserable. And when Geralt finally frees him, if you actually do that, if you don't let what's his face take him, because he's an asshole too.
Yeah, he is an asshole for certain.
But he gets through it. There's this sadness of like, well, shit, what now? I guess you give me another chance. I'm gonna go try and be a better person or do something.
He's like, but what do I returning to? Like, everyone I loved is dead.
Yeah.
My wife is dead. My brother's dead. My family's in ruins. I have nothing. Like,
yeah,
you know. And Geralt, you know, if you choose to say it, you could be like, yeah, that's rough, buddy.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
It's so great. You leave that thing and it's like over. You're like, wow, that was great. You know, and there's so many cool moments and just like, and
it leaves you both of those expansions when they end leave you with a feeling, like a deep feeling, whatever that, like, whether it's like sadness or relief or
because those characters
just
feel
contemplation.
Real.
Yeah, they do
feel way more real than any other video game characters.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes close is maybe some of those characters in Dragon Age. Certainly nothing in Skyrim.
I would say Witcher is way beyond.
Well,
what I got from Dragon
it's way
Age.
beyond. But the first time I ever experienced video game characters that remotely felt real was in Dragon Age Origins, the first one. None of the other ones. But Witcher was way beyond that. And dude, in Blood and Wine, when you're hanging out with the vampire, what's his face? Regis. You're having those like just those whole segments where you're just chatting in the graveyard. I'm like, what a fucking game!
Well, and
you know what I mean?
The great part about that is it was so final. Because like you had gone through such an incredible quest in the main story and with Heart of Stone, if you did it in that order, that when you're sitting there and you know what this character's been through, and you know that this is like the end of the line for him, basically.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a house now. He's got a pretty dope estate. You know, like, this is probably the end of the line for Geralt of Rivia and all of his adventures.
And that
like,
Regis lives forever, so he's got all this wisdom, and he's not an asshole, and he's a good friend to Geralt, you know what I mean? And he's just one of those dudes that's, you know, he's just it's so good, dude. And the thing is, the show, the closest the show remotely comes to scratching any of that is episode 1.
Yeah.
And it's obvious that it kind of feels to me like whoever was writing the show, they'd never played the game. You know what I mean? They never played.
I think they have since gone back and played the game.
Yeah, but they didn't.
I think they have, like...
I don't know. Maybe they did.
I think they made the decision to make this show a long form, a long arc kind of show. Like, we need a show that's going to be like Game of Thrones, where it's going to be a week-to-week build-up over, like, an epic season of this and that. And I think that doesn't lend itself well to Witcher, and they're trying to incorporate the novel stories, which also doesn't lend itself well to what we think The Witcher does best. And I think that, you know, a bolder take, they're just trying to do an adaptation. I think a bolder take on doing something like this with The Witcher, doing a TV show, would have been to do like an episode, a Monster of the Week type episode, where, because like you don't need 8, 9, 10 episodes in order to get an impactful ending. I can go and watch that TNG episode where Patrick Stewart, where Captain Picard
lives the life of
that other guy.
The Inner Light.
The Inner Light. And have the same
literally
feeling.
One of the greatest hours of television ever crafted by the hands of man.
And have that same feeling at the end of it. Or I could watch, what is it called? I want to say Brothers, but I don't think it's Brothers. It might be Family, actually. Ironically, it might be also called Family, where it's right after the Borg stuff happens, and
Oh,
Picard goes back and
he gets in a fight
fights
with
with the brother and all that sort of stuff. Like, you know, just a great and you know, and then Worf has his moment with his parents. You know, he's feeling shame from being dishonored and by the Klingon and all that. You know, it's just this great stories, just great personal character stories that still leave you feeling that feeling like, oh man, what a you know, you should always walk away thinking about what the characters are doing. Like, I wonder what they did after that. I wonder how they how do they really feel about that? How did Picard really feel when he picked up that flute or whatever that was and like started playing it again? Like,
he could play it.
That he could play it.
He still knew how to play it.
It was like it was
great.
It was real to him. You know, it was as real can be. And you know, so you should always. I feel like you should always
That was
leave.
kind of like a Morty's mind blower, man, because it's like, you know, he literally lived this entire life and then goes back to right where he left, and he had lived for like 50 years as this other person with a family and kids and shit. And then
like, how do you go? I mean, how do you even go back from that?
I know.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Holy shit, dude! You got to go into therapy for decades to get over that shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're just maybe more evolved in the 24th century.
Yeah, well, I mean, they also had Troy on board, so I'm sure they did some talking about it. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked what I said, what Justin said, if you like the content we're providing, if you had any kind of laughs at all, even if you hate us, if you hate my guts, if you want to stab me, if you want to say all sorts of horrible things to me, cool. Like the video, subscribe. You'll get fed all sorts of shit you'll probably hate. And if you like us, you'll get fed all sorts of shit you probably like. So please and thank you.